Alright guys, let's just get right into it. This video is going to be a Q&A, a part 2 follow-up of my questions I've avoided answering video that I did about like a month or two ago. You guys reacted so positively to that video and me opening up about super personal things. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up here. That was one of the most liked and viewed and positively received videos I have made in probably the last like couple years. So thank you guys so much for the love on that video. I got questions and comments on that video asking me if I could do a follow-up, like a part 2, because obviously there's always more questions that you guys have. So I took questions again from Instagram, and let me know in the comments if you guys want me to take your questions from YouTube or from Twitter. I've lately been doing it from Instagram just because they made the little thing where people can really easily send you questions, and it's like anonymous when you answer them, so it just makes sense. Without further ado, let's get into it. What are your wildest memes from your LA days? So my complete, honest, wildest memories from LA will probably never be shared on my YouTube channel because honestly, there's certain things in life, certain memories that just I think deserve to be you and the people that were involved having to know about it, to be completely honest. Some of the best early wildest memories that I like kind of thought were wild at the time was when I lived in my apartment with my sister, which was when she first moved to LA and when I was like 19, so like prime college, early college years age, you know what I mean? Megan and I would just have all of our friends over. It was the time in my life where we were super close with Lexi, Claudia, Jack, Drew, Alex, A-Dubs, like that was our crew. And I get questions all the time about like, are you still friends with all your LA crew and everything like that? And it's more of a long distance friendship now with everybody because obviously I don't see any of them unless I travel to LA. I can only refer to this phase in my life as the Sky Vodka phase. This was just the phase where I do not know why we were, or maybe just it was me because I was pretty much always buying it, obsessed with flavored Sky Vodka. And that is pretty much all we would drink, like shots of flavored Sky Vodka and then just go out for the night. And at this time, none of us were 21. So we were not, you know, going out to the bars or to the club or anything like that. Somebody would text us in a dress of a party or a house party or a move basically that was going on, and literally all we would know is a dress and the person that sent it to us, and we would just show up there. And I cannot tell you how many absurd things happened because most of the time at these parties or functions, I literally knew only the group that I went with, and I probably didn't even know a single person that was in attendance because we were all new to LA, so we would just literally go to anything that we got invited to. Even most of these things we didn't even get invited to, somebody would just, like I said, receive an address via text message, which honestly is not very safe looking back, but you know, this is what you do when you're trying to search for something to do when you're not in a typical college environment and you're under the age of 21. You just gotta take what's offered to you. So just these parties were so absurd, so funny. I remember some days I would just wake up the next morning and be like, literally, what was that? It was so absurd. Like, that's the only way I can describe it, is just ridiculous. And then we would always somehow end the night at the 24-hour IHOP, which I think all IHOPs are 24 hours, but the 24-hour IHOP that was directly across from me and Megan's apartment building, we would somehow always end the night at IHOP. And I have so many photos on my phone back from 2014, 2015 at IHOP with everyone just like the end of the night, like face where you're just ready to go home, but you're like, I gotta get those chocolate chip pancakes before bed. Just funny photos from that time in my life. And I'm not gonna say this was so wild and crazy. We would go to parties and then go to IHOP, but it was just a very like fun and funny time to look back on in my life. Everyone was new to LA. We were all down for pretty much anything, and it was just funny. Okay, next question, which I got this one by several people, so I did want to finally address this question. And it is brief description on why you don't talk to Polina. So I wanted to finally kind of like answer this question. I haven't really known how to answer it because I honestly don't know the true like reason for 100% sure of why we kind of stopped hanging out so much and stopped being so good of friends. So I only know from my personal experience what like I felt and what I kind of 2 years later, like this was literally 2 years ago. So this is kind of how I feel now. I don't know how she feels. I don't know her personal opinion. So from my point of view and kind of looking back on it 2 years later, I think that me and Polina were meant to be friends for a period of our lives, and we weren't meant to be really close, deep friends for years to come. And I think that's totally normal. You guys can probably think of friends in your life that might have been in it for just a short amount of time. It's nice to be friends with somebody that does the same thing as you, in the sense that we both were YouTubers that kind of made videos on very similar topics. We both did like beauty, fashion, and vlogs, so our channels were kind of similar, you know what I mean? And it's really nice to have that person to go to events with and vlogs with, well, be in their vlogs and have them be in your vlogs, and just it's really easy to have that friendship kind of to go to things together and have fun. Like me and Polina had a lot of fun like going out at night and going to like festivals and different things together. Like that was our friendship. I don't feel like it ever got to the point where we were such good enough friends that we were like having sleepovers and all this kind of stuff. Like we would go out together and we would go to events together and we had fun together. And then I think honestly, like I said, I don't know what happened from her point of view, but we kind of just slowly like tried to see each other at things, and then it wouldn't work out. Either like I wasn't trying hard enough to go and find her, or vice versa, and we kind of just slowly stopped like texting each other. Honestly, I know that people just want like tea and drama, and so many YouTubers, when they get asked about like, why aren't you friends with this person anymore, they always answer it with like, there's no drama between us, there's literally no tea, nothing happened. But genuinely, we didn't have like a big fight. We just kind of stopped like texting so much and hanging out. And I think it was really kind of months of events happening that we just slowly got less close. And then, I mean, 6 months after this, I moved out of LA, and literally nothing having to do with Polina. But 6 months after this, I moved out of LA. So obviously we weren't really gonna see each other much after that. So I really haven't seen her in about probably like 2 years, and I wish her love. And that is pretty much the answer to that from as much knowledge as I have, because like I said, I still am a little bit confused about the situation, but I come from a place of love, and I know that she does as well, because we did have so many fun, crazy, wild memories together. Referring back to the first question, Polina was a part of a lot of the wild nights and memories that I had in LA. I'm not one to have like hatred towards another human. That's really just, I left that shit in high school, to be completely honest. So that is the answer to that question. And I did get that from a lot of people, so I really hope that I answered that for you guys well. Okay guys, next question. Nothing major and IDC. So nothing major and I don't care, but I've always wondered if you smoke weed. So I get this question so much. YouTube isn't really the most weed friendly, drug friendly website. And I also think that people think that I am like some sort of like a stoner and that I smoke like all the time, when the simple answer, you guys, is I enjoy weed in social settings occasionally. I maybe smoke like once a week, completely honestly. People either like have no idea, or I think they think wrongly that I'm like super into weed, when it's just not the case. And that's only because I am so not productive when I'm high. I am like the laziest person. I literally have to just like be on the couch watching movies, eating snacks. That is all I can do. Like I seriously cannot be productive when I'm high. So I to be productive and have, you know, my weeks and my days. And I also get so tired. I would rather like be in my state of mind that I can get things done. So I would honestly rather have like a glass of wine or two than be high, and that is just how I am. That's just me, you guys. And I really wish I could be more open about these things on my channel. It's not that I don't want to be or I want to be secretive. That's really not it. I would have been talking about this stuff so long ago if YouTube was more open and people in general were more open. But like I said, it's just, I gotta watch what I talk about. Moving on to a more lighthearted question. The first few questions of this video have been a lot, honestly. What tips do you have for a healthy relationship? I feel like I'm always a jealous, insecure, clingy mess. So I definitely don't have the healthiest, amazing, perfect relationship. I don't think anybody does. I obviously think people are gonna have great, successful, amazing relationships, but nobody's relationship is gonna be perfect. But you said a healthy relationship. I think mine is definitely unhealthy at times. I would say like we have our high days and we have our low days, and I personally, with my emotions and how I'm doing in regards to my partner and love and communication and everything, especially going on 2 years now I've been with my boyfriend, and I have literally never dated someone before him for longer than 5 months, and that was long for me, dating someone for 5 months. So this has really been my absolute longest relationship, and I honestly didn't think I could be successful in a relationship for this long. I surprise myself every day. But my tips for a healthy relationship are honestly just being completely honest with your partner about what you need, and trying to, obviously you got to keep their emotions in mind and your emotions in mind, but you really need to put yourself first while also making time for your partner, and that's really hard to do sometimes. You mentioned being jealous and insecure, and I would say like open up about any concerns that you have with your partner, and make sure you verbalize what is okay, what's not okay. Please verbalize your boundaries for the relationship. That is something that I have been really, really late to doing with Sean, is sitting down and writing down and verbalizing, these are the boundaries, these are the things that are not okay, these are the lines that will not be crossed in a relationship, and just making sure you guys are on the same page so you don't feel this jealousy, you don't feel this insecure. And that's not to say that like everyone, I feel like for the most part, unless you are just not a jealous person at all, everybody feels these feelings occasionally. I didn't think that I was a jealous person, and then certain things happened, or certain things might come up, certain thoughts or certain people that I'm like, wait, I'm feeling jealous right now, even though I feel secure in my relationship, so why do I feel this? And I think it's just a human emotion. But I would say like the biggest thing, this is what everybody says, is what every couple says when you ask them like how to have a healthy relationship, just communication, really being as open as you can about what you want and what you don't want. That's gonna be the way to be the most successful, and really just trying to get on the same page as your partner so you guys can move forward like in the same, like move forward like this, rather than like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know, I feel like you know. All right, next question. Have you distanced yourself from certain people in LA? I thought about this question, and at first when I saw it, I was instantly like, no, I haven't distanced myself from anybody. Like I haven't stopped being friends with anybody. And then I really thought about the question, and I was like, I think maybe unintentionally, but just with me moving away and me not being the greatest communicator. Like I'm literally so bad at being the person to like text someone first most of the time, unless I have something to tell them. I feel like I'm so shitty at keeping in contact with people, and I'm more one of those people that like when I see you, I know that we will be on the same page and we will have that same relationship, but I'm really not great at like reaching out and keeping in contact with text and phone calls with people that don't like live in the same place as me, which is not great for my friendships and my relationships. That's never been something that I'm good at. When I travel to LA, for example, like I know the people that I'm going to try and see, and hopefully I will see them and we will pick up where we left off, you know what I mean, and like enjoy the time in person that we have together. But I haven't intentionally distanced myself from anybody, obviously, besides physically moving to another state. That's obviously going to create some distance between the closest people in my life, and I really every day miss my friends and my relationships. And just like I have a lot of, almost all of my close friendships right now in my life are long distance friends in Atlanta, friends in LA, friends around the country that I've met at shows, festivals, whatever the heck it is. And everybody's doing their own thing, and I just cherish the time that I do get to spend with people, even if I only see them once every year and a half or 2 years or whatever it may be. Okay, next question is opinions on one night stands, and when do you think it's okay to hook up with somebody for the first time? Okay, I do have an opinion on one night stands, and it might be different from yours. And my opinion is, who the hell cares? Do what you want, as long as you're being safe and not hurting anyone and doing what makes you happy. I don't give a crap about how many sexual partners people have. If you hook up with someone on the first date, or if you wait until marriage to have sex with somebody, I really seriously think it's different for every person, because people just have different wants, different needs. People's sexual preferences, like how sexual they are, is just a completely personal thing. I have definitely had my share of one night stands, and would I say I regret any of them? I mean, I don't look back and be like, that was so great. I usually look back and I'm like, that was just a funny night, and honestly, like, I was just vibing with that person and I wanted to have that experience. And for the most part, I really don't think I regret many of my sexual partners. And I don't think you should. I think if you if you and that person are on the same page and you want to go home with them, like, by all means, go home with them. Be cautious, be safe, make sure that you are not like blackout drunk when you're going home with someone. Girls, obviously that is something to be aware of. Make sure you are conscious and you know the decisions that you're making. I would strongly urge you to go out always with a buddy and stay with a buddy if you cannot trust yourself to make the best decisions going home with someone, you know what I mean? Make sure you have someone looking out for you. But at the end of the day, like, we're gonna make our own decisions, we're gonna make mistakes sometimes. And I think the second part of your question was, when do you think it's okay to hook up with somebody for the first time? I mean, I have literally met people out and hooked up with them that same night. I've been friends with someone and been into them and not hooked up with them for like months or a year or literally however long. I mean, me and my current boyfriend now, we hooked up like as in had sex within like 2 days of meeting. And we were at a festival, so, you know, like festival love, whatever it is, like festival lust, all that kind of stuff, really. But I honestly think it would have been kind of the same scenario if we had met here, or if we had just met somewhere. Like, I seriously think it just depends on the person and how attracted you are to them and how much you want to be physical with them, or maybe you want to wait to be physical with them. I really don't think you should think about it too much. I think, like I said, you should just be safe, and you should just do what makes you happy. Just do you at the end of the day. Like, that's honestly the most important thing. That's what I do. Okay, I feel like I kind of answered this a little bit in this video already, but do you still keep in touch with any of your OG YouTuber friends like Aspen, Lauren, etc.? So I think this person is asking about all of the OG like beauty gurus, the IMATS days. If you guys have been watching my channel for that long, like when we would all meet up at New York, IMATS and VidCon and things like that. Oh my god, those were some of the best memories of my like high school experience. so much fun. I would say I keep in touch with a few of those girls still. I keep in touch with Emily and Christy and Aspen a little bit. Same with Christy. I saw her a couple months ago actually. Same with Emily, who was my college roommate and who was also like one of my first YouTube friends. I'm trying to think. There's a few girls that like don't do YouTube. I pretty much follow everyone still on social media. Like I still keep up with everyone on Instagram. I feel like for the most part, like everyone that stayed present on social media and making videos or literally whatever it is, like I've kept up with them for the most part, which is good. It's just like it's so nostalgic to think back to that time of my life, but it makes me so happy. Next question. I thought this one was just kind of funny, so I decided to include it, and it is, when was the first time you ever got shit-faced drunk? Story of the time? I like how you said like shit-faced drunk. I would say it was like the summer after junior year or after senior year, probably somewhere after junior year. Really nothing too crazy. Normal teenager things, I think. And God, one of the first times I ever got, I definitely didn't get blackout, but one of the first times I ever got super drunk and like threw up the next day because of it was from a watermelon 4 Loko. And to this day, like if I smell a 4 Loko or I'm around 4 Loko and I sniff it at all in my vicinity, I just think about that time. It brings me back to... Comment down below if you can relate to that, ladies. Oh wait, I have a good one. I actually have a good one. I forgot about this story. Okay. I'm gonna probably delete what I said before this because this story is so funny. I was on a trip to Cabo with a brand, and when I say that, like, let me just say this brand was so cool. They brought us to this pool party one day and they literally were like giving everybody drinks and tequila shots, and like it was very, it was not like I mean, I guess the trip was technically like for business, but it was for pleasure in the sense that the brand just wanted us to go to Cabo and have drinks and go to pool parties. I mean, I probably shouldn't have done this, but at the same time, I don't think it like negatively impacted anything because plenty people that day got drunk, but I definitely didn't plan to get as drunk as I did. So it's kind of funny looking back on this day. This was my first time taking tequila shots, and I was taking them in Mexico, and so I was doing like the salt, the lime, the whole deal. I really can't drink tequila after this situation happened because for some reason in Cabo, Mexico, tequila shots are so easy. I don't know why, but it was so easy for me to just keep taking tequila shots at this pool party. So I took a bunch of tequila shots. I blacked out while I was still in the pool at the end of this party. Aspen was there. I think Parker, Aspen's husband, was there, and my sister was there. Like, she was my +1 and Parker was Aspen's +1, and we were kind of all hanging out this day, and we had to take a bus back from the pool party. Like, our transportation was just this bus, like, back from the pool party to the hotel that we were staying at in Cabo, and I was apparently talking about like the dumbest shit. Like, I was like falling over on Aspen, and I was telling her about high school and who I went to prom with, and I'm not gonna really reveal what I said because it was kind of embarrassing, honestly, but there's a video of me like once we got onto the bus, I was like dancing and falling and grinding in the hallway, the tiny little, not hallway, the bus walkway. I was like falling over on people, and I was like dancing, and it was just an embarrassing video. It was just like one of those videos where it's like, oh, that girl's just too drunk. I wasn't like, oh, what did I do? Because like I said, it was a pool party. Everybody was drinking and having a good time, and but at the same time, you know, I got a little wild. I took a few too many tequila shots that day. Probably should have stuck to the pina coladas. And then I had to be taken back to the hotel and like escorted up to my room, like carried by like 2 of the ladies from the company and my sister, and they like took me and tucked me into bed. And this is like the best part, you guys. One of the ladies that was like a brand lady from the trip, I don't know exactly her title. One of the ladies called room service, and I don't know if I requested her to get me something or she was just being nice. She ordered from room service every dessert on the menu. every dessert on the menu to be brought to my room. And I woke up, my sister was in the bed next to me, and I woke up from my blackout. This was my first memory in like 3 or 4 hours. I wake up from a nap and I'm like, Megan, what happened? She like tells me what happened. She's like, you were being crazy. Like this, like tells me about the bus, and I was like falling over and dancing on women that were 50. That's messy, Lindsay. And then she was like, Lindsay, you have to go open the refrigerator in the room right now. There was literally like 20 slices of cakes in the refrigerator. I was so happy. It could have been a lot messier than it was. Like the ladies took care of me and they were so nice to me, and my sister said it was funny. I don't think I threw up or anything. Like I think I honestly recovered pretty well, but that was probably that was a time that I blacked out that I definitely probably shouldn't have. But those tequila shots in the pool in Mexico, oh man, it was. Okay, I'm gonna answer 2 more questions because this video has gotten pretty long, as my last one did. And this question is, I got a lot of questions kind of similar to this, so I'm gonna try and answer it to the best that I can. And the question is, what are your opinions on psychedelics at festivals? So for me personally, when I'm at a festival, like I am just doing me, having a good time. But I got a lot of questions similar to this. I got a lot of questions about like, what do you do at festivals? Like what? You know what I mean? Like I got a lot of questions about substances. And again, with how I answered the weed question, because I don't want to influence people in that way. Like I want everyone to make their own decisions for themselves. How's the best way I can describe it? It's like, guys, if you ever meet me in real life, or you meet me at like a festival or a show or whatever, and like you come up to me and we start talking, like I feel like I'm totally down to answer questions like this in that situation. And I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to be like sneaky and like, oh, I'm only gonna answer this stuff like if you guys meet me in person. So if you never meet me, like sorry, but like I said, it's just YouTube is not the place, and the internet is not the place for all of these types of things. I don't want to be sneaky, and I don't want to be private, but I also don't want to be spewing off about things. But like if you've gone to Electric Forest, or if you've gone to like Bonnaroo or something, like you just know how it is, and it's not weird to be a part of the festival community and just like have a good night and have a good time. And that's the best I can answer that question. I'm sorry. I hope that that is not like a horrible answer. I hope that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. And yeah, that's just how it is. There's certain things I'm probably never gonna share on the internet, and that is a good thing. Okay, that is. Everybody should not share every detail and personal thing they've done with the world. Okay, the last question I'm gonna answer for this Q&A is, do you regret your tattoos? So, only have 2 tattoos. I got them on the same day, which was, looking back, I got my 2 tattoos on the same day, and I dyed my hair bright purple. Literally all on the same night. Like, I was going crazy at this time of my life. This is when I was having like a little bit of a breakdown. Luckily, I don't regret either of my tattoos. This one just says I'm happy, and this is probably my favorite. Well, actually, I like my saying of this one more, which is I believe in the good things coming, but I do have a few regrets about this tattoo. As you can tell, like it doesn't look straight when my hand is like this, but if my hand's like, it depends on the placement of my hands. Like if I put it like here, but I would have changed a couple things about this tattoo. I love the quote. I would not change what it says at all. This is actually probably my favorite. I can't decide. I like the placement of this one better and the font of this one better, but I like the saying of this one better. I don't really regret anything about this tattoo other than it looks like it says I am happy a lot of the times because the M is super close. So I probably would have chosen a slightly wider, different font, or maybe just done more research about my artist. Same thing for this tattoo. I didn't really do any tattoo artist research, which is that's probably the regret I have about my tattoos, is that I didn't think about it a little bit more. I knew that I wanted to get these sayings, but I didn't really think about like the fonts and everything. So with this particular one, I would have definitely gotten a thinner font. I like how it's cursive, but I don't like how thick it is. It's a little bit too big too. And this isn't something that I think that I would actually change. Like, I don't think I would remove this tattoo. It seems like way too much of a process. And when I look at it, I'm not upset about it. I love, like I said, I love the quote of both of my tattoos. But I would probably have done a little bit more research and gotten the fonts exactly how I wanted them and the placement. And so this one didn't look like it said, "I am happy." And this one would just be smaller and thinner. So I do regret the font of this one, but I don't regret the saying. And I do like where it is. It's just a little bit big for the arm, but it's easy to cover her up. This one's not so easy to cover up, but I don't really want to cover up "I am happy." Anyway, I get so many compliments on both of my tattoos. Honestly, people are like, "I love that saying," and maybe it's just people being nice, but I get like random people that are like, "I really like that, like that made my day." So I definitely do not, when I look at them, I don't regret them. But like I said, the artist, how I didn't do any research, and then the fonts, probably regret that stuff. So this has been a really long video. My camera is blinking red at me, so I'm gonna end it off here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you made it until the end, give this video a thumbs up to let me know, and leave me a comment down below. I really tried to like not leave anything out of this one. Like, I really tried to answer the questions that I actually get so much. So I hope this was enjoyable, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon.